Today, I have 4 partners. Four. I know, it sounds like a lot. I have Scott, who's my primary partner, who I live with and do life with and raise kids with. I have Steph, who, if you've listened to me very long on the podcast, you've heard of Steph and you have seen her come on multiple times onto the podcast. And we were in a triad with Steph, and within the last few months, that's changed, and I am now seeing Steph one-on-one, girlfriend to girlfriend. We have 2 other girlfriends. We will call them Springfield and we will call them Tulsa because that's where they live, which is exactly 2 hours from me in 2 different directions, one west and one east. So with 4 partners and 2 children and 2 dogs and 2 businesses and lots of clients and team members, how do I manage all of this? Welcome to the Open Bedroom Podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Kalo. Welcome to conversations about open relationships, online dating, and creating relationship dynamics that truly align for you. And today is a solo episode with me called How to Master Dating Multiple Partners. So lots of people ask me, or say to me, Jen, I can hardly handle one person in my life that I'm dating or that I'm married to. How in the world do you and Scott master dating multiple people? And I guess I would start by saying this is something that you learn. You learn to hold and expand capacity in your life when you have children. With each child, your capacity grows. With work, as you take on more work or more responsibility, your capacity grows. The same is true. Capacity is a muscle. It's a muscle that you work and then it gets bigger. So what I have found as we've gone through our open relationship polyamorous journey is at one point having one girlfriend felt like a lot. It felt like, oh, wow, this takes a lot of energy and concentration and scheduling. And oh, whoa, there's less time for me. And then eventually after we added another, partner or 2, I was like, oh, wow, this is nothing. I can juggle all of this, and not juggle in a bad way, but like remember their kids' names and birthdays and what's going on with their work and be really, truly interested in their lives. So today I have 5 different ways to help you master dating more than one person if that's of interest to you. So I guess first, let me kind of lay out where I'm coming from today. This changes all the time. Everything in an open relationships is fluid. But today I have 4 partners. 4. I know, it sounds like a lot. I have Scott, who's my primary partner, who I live with and do life with and raise kids with. I have Steph, who, if you've listened to me very long on the podcast, you've heard of Steph and you have seen her come on multiple times onto the podcast. And we were in a triad with Steph, and within the last few months, that's changed, and I am now seeing Steph one-on-one, girlfriend to girlfriend. We have 2 other girlfriends. We will call them Springfield and we will call them Tulsa because that's where they live, which is exactly 2 hours from me in 2 different directions, one west and one east. So with 4 partners and 2 children and 2 dogs and 2 businesses and lots of clients and team members, how do I manage all of this? Well, the first thing I would say, and let's just talk about dating, is for me, the way that this works well is being kitchen table. If you're listening and you're like, what the fuck is kitchen table? Kitchen table polyamory just means everybody knows each other. Imagine sitting around a kitchen table and the husbands know the other people's partners. So if I'm dating a woman, her husband is my metamor. And so I know the metamors. I've at least know who the children are if I haven't met the children. Everybody knows who we're dating and we don't have to keep things a secret. This is the biggest thing for me that's really helpful. I don't have to worry if Tulsa knows about Springfield, that knows about Steph. I don't have to lie. I don't have to cover anything up. So when we have a woman who's interested in dating us, we are super transparent that we have other partners. In one way, we're transparent through Field. Field is a dating app that we use that's for people in open relationships. And the wonderful thing about Field is they have added They've added part to their dating app that allows you to show all of your partners that are in that app. So it's called a constellation. So imagine a grouping of stars. So within mine right now, I have all of my partners. I have Scott and Steph and Springfield and Tulsa. And you can see each relationship dynamic that Scott is my primary partner, that Steph is my girlfriend, and that Springfield and Tulsa are our girlfriends as well. So the first thing is I'm honest about it, and that keeps it really, really simple. Other ways I talk about this is within the dating app, within the profile itself. I say I have multiple partners. At this point, I say I am polysaturated. I have multiple partners. I'm not looking for a new partner, but I'm happy to be friends. And so I put that on FetLife. I put that on Bumble, and I put that on Field. So if anyone is interested, they kind of can read it and go, okay, she doesn't have capacity in her right now. But in 6 months, that might change. One of our partners might decide, hey, we've decided we want to change and be monogamous, or hey, I want to go try something different. And so people will flow in and out of your life. So tip number one is be open, be kitchen table in your relationships, and that will help you as you are holding capacity for multiple people. It will help you in multiple ways. One, your people that you're dating will have some compassion and empathy and some what's the word I'm looking for? Some perspective of what kind of capacity you actually have to date them. So they're not going to expect to be your full-time girlfriend or your full-time partner if they know you have multiple partners. So anyway, let's move on to number two. So number two is calendars and schedules. I live my entire life by my calendar, from my work to my extracurricular activities to self-care to dating. Everything is on my calendar, and I manage my calendar for me and the kids and Scott. And I have all of our partners' email addresses that connect to their Google calendars. And so we basically have just this big shared kind of calendar. And for my side, so I can see who's going where and what and when. And so on the weekends that I don't have kids, that's when we plan our dates and we plan our sleepovers. And so as a couple, we're seeing, these two women. And so on let's say a Friday and a Sunday, one might have Friday and one might have Sunday, and they're coming down and we're doing fun things, which I'll talk about in a minute. Outside of just sleeping together and having delicious three ways, right? So it's really important to work on a calendar and work on a schedule together. And so it helps if you understand each partner's schedules as well. So did they also have children, or do they not have children? Are they going on vacation? So right now, one of our girlfriends is about to go on vacation for a week and a half to Florida. She's out of commission. The previous week or two, the other girlfriend was in California for, over a week. Great. Okay. We plan around all of these things. Scott's about to get a vasectomy on Wednesday. So now I have a 2 week that I'm blocking no sex for anyone with him. And so it's just understanding all of these different dynamics and then seeing how the puzzle pieces fit. One other thing I would talk about with scheduling is plan in advance as far as you can. We aren't to the point, except maybe with me with Steph, where we would plan a vacation as a throuple. Each of the women that we are in a throuple with have husbands and families, children. And so they would obviously get any kind of priority when it came to vacationing. But let's say that we're in a point in our throuple, maybe we're 6 or 9 months in, and we're like, it'd be really fun to go vacation together for the weekend. Where do we want to go? We did this with Steph. You can plan that out. You could look into next year. That's a lie. One of our girlfriends and I do have a weekend planned in Branson, and we're going to go to the spa, and we're going to stay in a cabin and eat delicious food and go shopping. So it's already on the calendar, something in January. And it's what? Middle of October right now. So if you're thinking, wow, well, haven't been dating these women very long. Why are you planning so far out? I believe when you start to navigate this world of open relationships, especially if you're in the vein of polyamory, you're either kind of in or you're out, And I don't do things halfway, and I don't date people halfway. And so if I'm dating someone and we're really into each other and we're having a great time, I feel comfortable planning 2 months down the road. So there you go. Scheduling is your friend. So right now we are talking about November and into December, and it's mid-October. So I have a Friendsgiving slash Partners Giving Thanksgiving dinner that I'm hosting for all of our partners and their husbands. Um, or, what I guess whoever else you want to bring, a best friend. If you're single, and I'm gonna host a Thanksgiving for all of us to just be grateful for each other. And that is such a great example of kitchen table poly, right? We're literally gonna be sitting around a table looking at each other. Okay, number 3 is daily contact. So this is where people get really overwhelmed. So I guess the first thing I would say is before you ever decide you're going to open up your relationship, it's important that you have your life together, that you are being an adult and you're being in command of your own schedule. And your own schedule means what are you doing for work? What are you doing for self-care? What doctor's appointments do you have? Is there anything that you need to take your kids to if you still have kids at home? What does your life look like? And if you're overly committing because you're on every single committee and you're volunteering all your time and you're the like XYZ at your kid's school, like you don't have capacity. So I don't volunteer for any of that shit. For me, what's important is relationships in my life. And that's just me. Yours can be different, but I'm just telling you how I am managing dating 4 people at one time. So when people say, what do you do for extracurricular? I'm like, I have 4 partners. And I read raunchy romance novels about vampires because apparently that's what I'm doing right now. Outside of work and all the other things going on in my life. So the first thing you need to do is get control of your schedule. And when you can get control of your schedule and actually open up time to date people, that's when you can make the first move to invite another human into your relationship, if that's what you want. When you get to 4 partners and you're managing communication daily with 4 different people, not including your children and your work and whoever else is in your life, your best friend or your sister or whatever, that's when you can take on more people. So now we're going to be talking about communication. There are, other than Scott, who lives with me, who I can see face to face, I don't see my other 3 partners every day. In fact, I probably see Steph the most. We try to see each other once a week, even if we're just going to yoga or grabbing dinner. The other 2 I only see every other week if we're lucky and our schedules all align. So that's a lot of communication that I have to do in between times that we're going to see each other to keep their relationship exciting, to keep things sticky, to keep the connection. And we're all fucking demisexual. So if we're not mentally connecting with each other, there is zero sexual interest. And so it's a lot of balls in the air. So here are the things that I do to keep my connection, because to me, I need daily contact with each one of my people, or I'm not feeling it anymore. I'm like, I don't even really feel a connection with her or him. So the first thing that we use is obviously text messaging. I find that texting is difficult because your text messages live in the same string as your doctor's appointments notifications and your kids texting you, telling you what they need, and your mother in there. Like, to me, I view each one of these things as separate containers. So, like, dating apps are their own portal, and the intention of a dating app is to date people, right? You want to create a portal for you to, or a container, whatever word feels right for you to have connection with the people that you care about that's not in the same string as everything else. So, here's some other apps that we use. We use Telegram. Telegram is a great place to keep those like very important conversations. The downside to Telegram is if you want to send a video to someone, it's 60 seconds and you literally have to hold a button down for 60 seconds. I'm kind of long-winded, so I need like 5 to 10 minutes sometimes to connect and tell you what's going on and ask questions and respond to the latest thing that you were telling me about. So I then moved to Marco Polo. I don't know if you've ever heard of Marco Polo, but it's an app. It's one-sided video communication, and I love Marco Polo. And I only have maybe a handful, 2 handfuls of humans in my Marco Polo, and they're the closest people in my life to me. Not everybody gets access to drop in to send me, videos of them talking to me, but these people do. And so what we do there is most of us are doing it when we're driving. So it's in between kid drop off, it's on the way to work, or it's on the way to lunch, or it's on the way home. And that's our few minutes to get to catch up throughout the day to feel that connection. And so I might be going, hey girl, I just want to say hi. I just left a breakfast meeting with my friends, and here's what happened that was so hilarious with the waiter. I tried out a new breakfast place. It really wasn't all that good. Hey, thanks for telling me about XYZ movie that you and your husband saw the other night. Scott and I watched it, and here's what we thought about it. And then it sparked this question. Well, what do you think about that? And that's it. And then I just leave it. And then whenever she's ready to go in and read it and respond, she has time, she can think about it. I also love Marco Polo for the difficult conversations that you might need to have, but you want to give your person space to process so that you're not having like a live argument or a live super confrontational conversation. So I might drop them in Marco Polo. You might say, but Jen, that's what Facebook Messenger is for. We can do the same thing. I don't know about you guys, but my Facebook Messenger is full of shit. It's full of every human I'm connected with on Facebook that has ever decided to DM me. It's spam stuff. It's every Facebook Marketplace conversation I had, like, hey, can I buy your bicycle? That is not a place I want to try to keep up with deep conversations with people that I love and care about. So the apps that I use, Telegram, Marco Polo, occasional texting. Okay. Also, hot note, if you want to send dirty pictures to each other, Telegram is a great app. It is encrypted. It's safe. Your kids are probably not on Telegram. They're not looking in your Telegram. So stay off of Facebook DMs for dirty pictures and go to Telegram. That's fun. Okay, number 4, plan fun dates. I am going to attach to the show notes. Or if you're on Instagram, you can also find this within my link tree. I'll put a link to my link tree below, wherever you're listening to this, whether it's, YouTube or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever. I have a freebie called Winter Dating Prompts. And this is something that you can use if you're on dating apps and you're trying to get someone off the app and in to do something fun. It's also just really fun ideas of what to do in the winter when you're dating. So that might be helpful as you're trying to come up with cool dates. And this is the best time of year for dates, in my opinion. It's not hot. You're not going to go sweat. I mean, for most of the United States, you're not. And if you're international, I don't know where you're at. Maybe it's hot for you. But here in the United States, it's turning cold for almost all of us. Some states already have snow, if not quite a bit of snow. Canada's got snow. So we're thinking cozy blankets, fires, Netflix and chill, hot tubs. We have a hot tub that's a great draw for people. All of the holiday bars are about to start doing fun things and doing like pop-up holiday bars. So many fun things to do in the winter. So when I'm dating someone, I love having dates where we fuck each other, but I also love having dates where we get to connect as humans. And so one fun date that we have planned coming up is an art paint, glow and flow. I almost always take a girlfriend to this because it's so much fun. There's a DJ, it's glow in the dark art. It's not super serious. So it's like you take art or you take paint, you put it in a cup, you throw it on a canvas, you wiggle it around and you like dance and you can bring your own booze, you can bring your own food. And it's amazing music and it's really fun and super affordable. Or go do a cooking class or something fun like that. I've done that once too. So plan fun dates. And I have the winter dating prompts guide attached below, as well as the link to my link tree if you're on Instagram and you want to head and you're like, where'd she put that? It's in my Instagram link. Okay. Last one is have fun in the bedroom. And each one of my partners has sex differently. Like one's super sensual, one's primal. I would say the other two are probably more sensual too, but like having 3 ways versus having sex, just me and Scott is totally different, or me and Steph's totally different. And you can also buy some things that are fun to use with all of your partners. So for example, lately, we bought a sex chair. We bought a Liberator sex chair, and that thing is fucking awesome. I love using it just with Scott. Like we're finding new positions that are so much fun. And our bed is great, but it like sucks you in. You know, it's one of those beds where it's like a cloud and it's like gently caresses all of your body parts and kind of sinks in and all around you when you sleep, which is wonderful when you sleep. But when you have sex, you're it's like quicksand. And you have the weight of you and the weight of them every time you're trying to move into any kind of position. The other night, Scott was like, oh my God, the lube keeps falling into my hands because like I'll put it next to us and then it'll just like sink into where his hands are. He's above me. And he's just like, I can't, I hate this. I hate your bed. So we've been moving into playing with the Liberator chair so much more and finding new positions and it's kind of fun. It's like, okay, what if I turn around and you did this thing and your head was like upside down, but then I did this? So much fun. We also are using this chair with our girlfriends. And so we found new positions to have three ways on this chair. So imagine like doggy style, and the chair is like this. So it like dips. So someone can be sitting here, but then it like goes up. So you can bend over it higher and you can also kind of bend over it lower, or there's all kinds of things you can do with this chair. Go look up Liberator sex chair. But at one point the other weekend, uh, Scott was fucking her backwards, like not backwards, but like doggy over. And then she was like bent down and like eating me out. And I'm like, had this amazing view of like her ass and him fucking her and it was amazing. Go buy a sex chair. Even if you are monogamous and you're listening to this podcast and you have one partner, go buy a sex chair. You will thank me for it. Another thing I've been playing with lately is strap on. So I've been wanting to fuck our girlfriends, and your fingers can only do so much, and toys can only do so much. And sometimes somebody wants to ride somebody. And so I went to our local sex shop. I went to Condom Sense. If anybody's listening from Northwest Arkansas area, Condom Sense is amazing. SENSE. It's downtown Dixon Street. Shout out to them because thank you for helping me. I walk in and they have all the latest toys, all the latest things. There's like a BDSM corner with like nice high-end, nice toys. You're not walking into like Adam and Eve where stuff is expensive, but like super cheap and going to fall apart. There's really nice stuff in there. And I went in specifically the other weekend and I was like, I need a harness for a dildo that I can wear that will fit and not move, that someone can ride me on. Thank you very much. That's what I'm looking for. And my friend works there and he was like, oh, hey, I got you. Like, so he got all the boxes. He got me 3 or 4 different examples of things, unboxes everything, lets me touch it, lets me feel it. I spent like fifty bucks later and I went home with this harness and I have used it several times. And you guys, it is easy. It is so easy to use. I've seen some where you have like a million hooks and snaps and like leather pieces and all the things. And that's really hard to do when you're A, turned on, B, trying to fuck somebody, or C, any kind of altered in your mind. All of that is really difficult. This thing is like Velcro, and there are a couple snaps, but I think it's only like for the dildo itself. So you can go ahead and like pre-put your dildo inside of there, and then you just like step into it, and it's like doo, 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 done. So I've been playing with that. Um, Toys, you can buy toys, and depending on where you use them or how your girlfriends feel about you, we're using a toy on them, or boyfriends or whoever you're dating. Your partners can bring their own toys, and then you can play with that. So just make sex fun. If you're dating multiple people and sex is boring, something is wrong. So go buy a sex chair, uh, buy a harness, buy some toys, do something fun. Uh, Go sneak out in the woods and have sex out in nature. I don't know. Just make sure there's no people around. So, okay. I hope that this was helpful. I know a lot of you have reached out to me and been like, I don't understand, or how do I date more than one person? Or like, what does it look like to have 4 partners? Now you know. It's all about scheduling and increasing your capacity, all that yummy stuff. All right. Thank you for listening. If you guys would do me a favor and either rate or review or both this podcast, it would be hugely helpful. I love, love, love when you guys write reviews. In fact, I'm going to read one right now. Okay, this review is from Mother Hunter, and it says, finally, a podcast talking about relevant topics. Thank you for bringing this podcast to the real world. I think so many lifestyle podcasts are about the adventure or the kiss and tell moments. You are welcome, Mother Hunter. So, for any of you that write a review before the next time that I record, I promise I will stop and read it and do a shout out for you the next time that I record. Okay, guys, have an amazing day. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Open Bedroom Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and give us a like and click subscribe below and stay up to date on all the new episodes that we release. If you have a topic that you'd really like more information on, leave us a comment below and we'll see what we can do. Feel free to share this podcast with all of your friends and especially your partners. This is a great way to open up some amazing conversations. We'll see you next week.